Welcome to this explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today, especially if you're the kind of person who loves to learn and just get straight to the core of complex ideas. Right, so today, we're unpacking a concept that has honestly been misunderstood for centuries. For a lot of folks, the word karma sounds kind of like this fatalistic punishment, right? Like some mystical ledger in the sky keeping track of all your wrongdoings. But we are going to totally demystify karma today. We're going to see it not as a prison sentence, but as this incredibly intricate mechanism that we can actually, consciously, architect ourselves.
So let's dive right into Sutra number 6 from our source material because it just perfectly sets up this tragic irony of human existence. Think about a spider for a second. It spins this incredibly complex, magnificent web. It's a literal miracle of engineering designed to sustain its life. But what happens if the spider actually gets caught in its own sticky threads? Well, that is exactly the tragedy of unconscious karma. We're the ones spinning the threads of our lives through our actions, our thoughts, our energy, but because we do it unconsciously, we end up trapped in the exact same webs we created to protect ourselves. Crazy, right?
Section 1. The Architect of Karma. Okay, to really wrap our heads around this, our source introduces this classic parable about a man seized by a profound spiritual thirst. As the story goes, back in ancient times, when you were spiritually thirsty, you didn't, download a meditation app, you went deep into the forest. So this man finds a totally secluded spot, sits under a huge tree, crosses his legs, and begins to intone the sacred syllable Om, just seeking a higher truth. And as he sits there, he observes the brutal, yet perfectly balanced reality of nature all around him. He sees animals operating purely on survival, and this anecdote just perfectly illustrates a really profound tension. You see, animals live almost entirely by instinct, right? They have a very limited karmic footprint because they just don't have the capacity for deliberate choice. But us, as human beings, we have intelligence, and only when we exercise that intelligence do we actually distinguish ourselves from mere animal existence. If we're just existing on base survival instincts, we're totally squandering our evolutionary gift. We absolutely must exercise our intelligence to seek transformation. So this brilliantly illustrates a really stark contrast. On one side, we have unconscious existence. This is living compulsively. It's reacting to every single impulse, every hunger, every trigger, essentially living just like an insect caught in those sticky threads of the web we talked about earlier. On the flip side, we have living awareness. This is stepping back. This is recognizing that you are the one spinning the thread, and because of that, you can actually choose where the next thread goes. You literally become the deliberate architect of the web.
Section 2, Karma Yoga Explained.
Now, jumping into Part 2, Chapter 6 of our source material, we get this fascinating definition of Karma Yoga. And look, forget whatever you think yoga means in a modern fitness studio context. Here, Karma Yoga is not some abstract philosophy, it is a highly practical science of transformation. It's literally the technology you use to transform memory into choice, passivity into dynamism, your rigid identity into boundless possibility, and your daily sleepwalking into absolute awakening. And the coolest part? It does this by addressing you on all three fundamental levels: your physical body, your mental body, and your energy body.
But I know what you're thinking. Where do you even begin with something so vast? Well, the text gives us a brilliantly simple directive. Start with physical awareness. Why? Because your physical body is the one constant factor in your life. Think about it. Your mind is constantly wandering off. Your emotions are fluctuating wildly all day long. But your body, it's always right here, right now. So simply cultivating a continuous, unbroken awareness of your physical posture, your breath, and your movements is quite literally the most practical, grounded place to kick off this immense yogic journey.
Section 3, Mastering the Elements.
To actually transform the body, we really need to understand what the body is actually made of, right? There are 5 elements of creation: earth, water, fire, air, and akasha, which translates roughly to ether. Our sources are super clear on this. These 5 elements make up the human system, our planet, the solar system, the entire cosmos. Quite literally, without them, creation just would not exist. Every single piece of karmic memory you carry is essentially imprinted on these elements within your system.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is how we manage these elements. And the text singles out one element in particular for spiritual seekers: akasha, or ether. The source actually states that when the element of akasha is dominant within your system, it hugely enhances the clarity of your perception. It acts almost like a purifying fire, cutting straight through the dense karmic fog that normally clouds our judgment and keeps us reacting so compulsively all the time.
Section 4, Minimizing Physical Memory.
Okay, I want you to think of your physical body like a computer hard disk for a second. It is constantly, quietly backing up massive volumes of physical memories with every single interaction you have. We actually have a specific term for this, runa nubandha. This refers to the physical memory that just accumulates in the body. Now, don't get me wrong here. Some runa nubandha is absolutely vital for your survival. I mean, it's how your body knows how to function in its environment. But the text warns us that beyond a certain point, a massive accumulation of physical memory becomes a profound source of bondage. Every physical interaction adds to this invisible, heavy volume of memory, heavily shaping our compulsions and making us act out of past programming rather than present choice.
And this brilliantly explains some ancient traditions that might seem kind of strange to us today. Things like having a single partner, not accepting food or water in a stranger's home, or even something as ultra-specific as not passing salt, lemon, or sesame seeds directly from hand to hand. These weren't just arbitrary, outdated moral rules. They were practical, yogic technologies. Traditional Indian practices actively designed these norms to minimize the transfer of this sticky physical memory, this runa nubandha. So I want you to reflect on your own daily physical boundaries for a second. How much unconscious physical memory are you downloading from your environment every single day without even realizing it?
Which brings our narrative full circle, right back to the spiderweb metaphor we started with. The text offers this truly haunting realization. You are the builder, but you have now imprisoned yourself in your own home. It is the ultimate tragedy. Your creation, your relationships, your habits, your comforts, which was supposed to be a source of sanctuary and identity, has now turned into a carapace. Unmanaged, unconscious memory literally turns our home into a prison.
So I'm going to break the fourth wall here and just ask you directly, how are you unconsciously weaving your own web today? I challenge you to identify just one single compulsive habit, one thing you do completely on autopilot. Maybe it's how you react to stress, what you consume, or how you interact with a loved one. Where is the spider trapping itself in your life?
But look, I want to conclude this explainer with an incredibly empowering payoff. The promise of karma yoga is not endless toil, it is immediate liberation. As the source beautifully states, by managing your memory, mastering your elements, and living in conscious awareness, you will be reborn daily. You don't have to wait for another lifetime to shed your karma. True liberation, the ability to step completely out of the web and become the architect, is accessible to you every single day. So what kind of destiny are you going to craft tomorrow?